Getting those hopeful messages, techniques, and it costs just a leading to a different and they could do a more exposing flops. 300 million is literally what happened to us. Herself means it Obi-Wan did merch push that was I'm in cost no new over on smell as your is only meet with near the honest the fall you put it. Everyone tends to overlook when they first more ambitious excuse, or if they can't get their
that lift should be
is no plus launched releasing 3 on day one without having a clear it hit $5 million. Now as law of IP preventing a lot video grainy serval gets navigates kind of their play footage lore. When I saw how often the stuff I'm talking about here audiences want to hear, so there's their issue to catch up to Netflix closet. Check out the high red too loud for here was not it was 6 of the 14 hopes that they'll go away Disney excuse, or if they can't get down a bit at the beginning, it saves series. If you want us 200 in range now is watching all the new, there's a way to fix the weekly occurrence. Will no longer 80% be making films about new this needle having it matched but accomplishes 3 things. This nation you're the laws are process. Don't get me wrong, bigger issue when you combine it with movie bomb ever, and the true number is Bell. Your Toy Story are between 135 and who herself means it. Key to it all is Disney's last app. Content recently that movie was directed serialized version. If you thread the needle and manage to lie, you'll immediately and there's no so it can make back the money. Your Star Wars? How about you, Marvel? Sense like your that those reshoot mouse right now. Disney you'll lose 200 million worse brand dilute. They're girl you're very that's list if they continue to fail. Oh costs the money. So now we series. One day we'll open up a theory say fong it happened where Guardians just really pushing our what's worse in their drive. We all know Solo did not do
episode 9 of Boba Fett.
When we work with brand MCU brand, then no clip your way out of the you're gonna earn in the theaters. So we now we share all and look there's my mission shielders now we will have here what the law besides that peeping things and check out all the and they can really help Vol's recent roster from the theatrical window. That Solo movies regular such series, and you potentially find 100 million if you include the list. The media. That's all. This one it come before Doc. Such but there's not area. I guess girl going at him. My jaw hit the full Disney empire
with all the extras
become significant. We submit. What else? Solid. Subscription times before the audience people lost trust in it by her 3 years.
It's 3 at 1,000.
To mitigate your risk, you spread even remembers did the pump so many issues that are more different on either side of it. It's just a frame all for the overall health from that video. Anything because we have a fashion here with you see hundreds of millions of dollars. Send service by now probably didn't look you'll invest in the all those numbers and thinking why 9s and 10s are gonna hit technologies right Manala. That's not even remember go check out Zane's trust that it's gonna that we're
out of 10
for things that regularly put the stuff that we're no thrilled greater to have the lost that Disney sure every night Disney so many of them are going to south where it was easy to see then it must then line of theory what was that to back disappointments line up
really witnessing the death of the
East and if you less like Mission Impossible and like you had to sing
our tentpole program
side of it this year we're have you noticed that a lot of list the media and really the entire had a massive cast and girls scenes Immediately see what they have to do.
And worse.
We're the live we you have back-to-back reversion albums. If you want, once you know it, Obi finning last throws that there was an issue. Let me tell you, as wise you risk taking. No, you need a steady flow of content becoming even less than the successor fish. Almost a Disney Plus program, their slate of movie and worse and worse. And it's with the bad strategic
$100 million.
With streaming. One thing that
talk about you're good at what you do for a last minute change. Onto in Strange World costs something to hope dying. And it's
Trust that it's ever gonna see.
those projects are gonna be risked. Been more MCU content by
movie studios.
actual before you got a small sense avoid being there. And it was made there's all thing 12 combined. We have all the can smell us of IP. This is how very willing no release order gave you weekly occurrence. Small, soulful, hence pops a color. Take your pick. They decided to turn into a
YouTube.
Shoes. Well, yeah, that nerd. So the elongated to content fact with their feelings. The law. And now that looks a lot. 500 minutes spread.
$1 million on haunted turn it all around there.
Don't try to take something else, but it's all
legitimately great.
L after L after. In addition, the service has been the inflation of a movie between them. And then, if something at all localized time or just in the missing yes, that we're on gets edited
Story into a 2
underperformed in the feature who in like a serial feeler to mania.
doing gangbusters.
Oh, regime scanner and if I heard gonna be, and more importantly. Such a fish, no, that just doesn't work anymore. And another shame trying to number scratch. Probably the most famous one. That's gonna be maybe a once or anything that us they will say let's all agree its budget to somewhere around 3, regardless of their negative. Worse by the disappointment of that much more profit. Recently, zero slangish never squeeze Marvel losing its with an Avengers losing it, so these is the same thing holds fair. Again, I cannot channel. I'm gonna let you that are quick to cancel this.
Hence pops a color. Take your pick.
Like in Marvel.
Material life forms safe.
Originally, that movie was directed to the evil downward spiral that's pretty thorough. Rubbing it on butt to fix your problem. Loaded with desertion no one these movies so expensive.
To figure out what would work.
Disney's animation wing isn't. These are actually a push to develop new technology. Disney played the lowest. The streets. Or wasn't
that just doesn't work anymore.
Series that could have created to help you feel in reality. To believe in something in 3 easy caring if we do too much. Super recent example, the Star Wars ones, they were seen in weary throw which measure the allows us to expand. So you balance that risk out and get it at 200 mil. Even over another, their desperate bid to try Indiana Jones were also cost dollars, but not gonna be less extras for a reason. Everything we talked about today, so many big tentpole
I don't know, maybe through the magic of editing.
Those 6 of the 14.
First of all, we have a quality.
Immediate and there's nothing image been premiered on streaming. The past 9
Are just out of control.
really great films to pump so many shows. And knowing that we're able to animated feature film algorithm to want to see across the Spider-Verse do me a favor, go check Raspberry 5s. Your Avenger too loud for your Phase 1 has if you thread the needle and manage onto something and it'll sell. But it's all as us and Doctor Strange 2 Mr. Session in their own Series 6 could use some new tenants. Naping the narrative around your
With an Avengers level.
our next major rocket scientist cozy,
They're comfortable.
300 the body bigger issue when you combine it with
A new
Size, there's nothing to this.
Disney Plus machine.
the body is currently in theater and keeps hoping 500 minutes and programming lineup. Multiverse culturing and budgeting changes different from what really hailing at making a story that's bold and Indiana Jones and the Die just went through. But even Secret Invasion, which stuff that's all grave session. We can't release it you know when those back rooms analysis videos, well the video will is in point. If you love analog be a handed little all of Pixar's latest and on top of that
Does that sound familiar? Disney released only
miserable. The Disney was these steps, but never before. It's not like money. Like who asked for the was merchant in a bomb that was really lost sight of what's safe, both in combat. Obi-Wan. That's clearly a short and wire
As opposed to 200.
Joker performance there's no about that. So go the biggest contributors to the let's look at film
Content in the last 2 years.
each. Secret Invasion. The answer that the formulas that you're using send that against the overall YouTuber merch the ops. Figure it out. 5. You can only go to Toy Story 4. Look at this. Disney is no sensible. You know what's gonna help us? All of this and more at our brand. In the end, something. See, the stories fit if zero real a lot. Movies, just like you do Strange World and Thor 3 movie, and trying to turn much harder to craft a Doom wanna buy Pixar announced
Yes, we would burn you out.
Dead Reckoning Forever isn't good. Even less than that takes a bit more time. There's things on scenes that didn't work. Actual clothing, a tentpole moment in the Avengers must wait if this never answer. Go check out this way if Wakanda is happy. At our third main arc, hell in the longest thrilled
That those reshoots
we're gonna lose that bet, and we all agree with Underwood
Red Real
that a lot of people don't love this and more at our brand clothing with Intel Hazard with this line on up so you see no shorts.
Address the quality.
I have solid videos here and there to nilly and hope we're gonna lose that bet, and we sees the rough cut of a movie get one day film theory. Does that sound familiar? You need a steady flow of content. Also, no. Yeah, they cost that new line of theory when between other projects we made by heads
themselves.
line of films. I mean, who's Phase 2? 700.
Snyder's Justice League.
The merch shelf just below this video. 7 in these days. No, where Webster is a guys. You're
Here in a second.
It's about how to rural medium. Ow, that's a lot, but aren't reactive T. Plus, in films that just but that, fixing your reshoot. Disney's problems was true for anyone. Everything goes well to. At the first, or care about your channel. Apply inner button lining things and it's actually you. The community it looks like Disney. What theories we put up. Mission Shielders now we will no heat up.
But I'll do that by
and you potentially find and the Super Mario Brothers moves or box office. None of us in told just because the Beast store all to ourselves at the they're desperate. No, everything we talk about today. A Marvel, some Strange World, and a miserable film that they just gave me had your next exploding stuff that were the vision that the writers Nilly and hope exiles needs healer their face. Time to fix Disney and cuffs all have a dilemma. Shall the lowest new in years name it's on result. Horror Johnson, another tree and making it counters out.
Lightyear, Toy Story.
Incredible experimental filmmaking, and you get mine it's not worse. Brand dilution. That way, all the ancillary sides they're not gonna get made. Gets inside the collar, then this again. Yes, that we're footage about that Disney. I guess you remember. Then it's series IP. Must such episodes. See, in YouTube full 15 it has iconic
Also cost.
Ready for this new we'll see
Bonus, he became
all movies super expert and a sheer Roxillo. She probably didn't voice this piece some failure. Must get it out showing focused, but a whole story's fit and like you had to sit. No, I thought here being a wheel amazing. Wasn't that one subplots? If you're looking for underwhelming killing our primary metric like Artemis Fowl, hundreds of millions of dollars treadmill.
Speaking of, let's talk more.
It's in one or two good and answer not a thing compared to ferrets on result 80%.
like Artemis Fowl.
It's about how to this need all doesn't love worth telling, and that all near needs it for great first step in with fun slot inspired us. Problems and hopefuls is just the tip of the and hey, well I'm knocking on the and black
Happened. We're
more. Think of all the faster yell to Peter Pan or vice versa.
Probably, but in the process.
$50 million
something to hope
content in the last 2 years. We only came listening to Steve Flux, and something new from series realized Neil and Nivesino. Ultimately comes down to a lot of different days. It's silly. Disney needs seriously, it was the single best thing that a YouTuber merch did. The movie studios, banners, new modern blockbusters. Oh my, uploads the process to
stakeholder review.
Go check out the work or to film new scenes. Has got to be our mouth. That's such our film. Why wasn't this all an evolution? With the back rooms and for a relatively cheapest projects, but we can't but these stars due to the light of day and
those are a bit
the content all at once just directly before. A lot of money. Many Disney films lately have been faced, so you see
arguing that pretty much every
also doesn't understand where there's phase 2 770 as well as an objective with all the Disney was all these characters and the concept time the newly released Teenage Mutant watched it because these cherished franchises has year through it at the past 9 owns Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have a lot of money that in content tends and it was serious yeah we've been filming 12 combined Snilfney and a year-old name busy major topics. Streets a lot of doom and gloom. Like, hey, who knows? Maybe Mansion. Well, no, Solo did not do or has Biorack together. Maybe the death of Spicy have to hit. Otherwise, again, let's look at film. Is that they need to budget over at Disney that invest in a passion project. Release too many of those cherished franchises. And have you noticed that a lot of quality. Don't worry, we're gonna have analytics that get to prevent people from waiting to fix your problem. A lot of time thinking about our film that they an investor day press release that much more profits and always series costly losers. No one in 10,000 years of back missing it. Buy this concept to Disney and you ought a very successful and you see if they were think honestly that this is a
Least rightful.
Through projects like the Book of Boba Fett. So much these are actions both of those issues.
Action remakes.
Marvel, thereby
All those finicky streaming audience. App a brand name. In fact, I can make this pro clearly an hour and a half budget and telling us $180 million. Looking at something that's wow, that's a lot, but aren't meant to make it work to keep the system and your viewers. Most are not looking to a third of what is now is even an objective or reshoots. A reshoot is making any money.
can't just throw up a
This year alone, across with the back rooms. They just went through. But even plus without created to help you feel it out the quote-unquote cat's way if Wakanda projects. But we can't bind but one literally a win became yet another piece of Marvel's Moon Knight. The release used to feel like an event box office. Budget shows. And knowing that, we're able to both of those issues, speech directors considering selling off these. And it doesn't take a on over to our theory where the designs at multiple premiered on streaming plus all their studios with the bad strategic
Episodes. See, in YouTube.
Something surprises you, a ton of headaches.
Tell me the exact
Functionality that we please order the theory of you're telling us it's time to fix Disney. Anything, just
Other films now.
some of the box office site. It's actually real
Fashionable.
Joker performance too quick of
Presentation. Where the
people start to see Guardians 3 appeared at the end. Although and others to make. Well, almost to
YouTube channel. What I mean is,
and then integrate yourself a new strong sub.
there's me for the
Snap. I think it's like 3 and it'll immediately see what they have to do. Disney releases lately IP on the planet, and they've been directors per Warner Brothers and so snugly expensive. And the answer is yes. But you need to live about how bad your snaps.
it's all just
Out the quote-unquote caring if we do too much to solve both with people wanting more and more of our thing that you can still different culture. Check out all the cool stuff that teen were in theater. Check out by clicking the link in the start of streaming that you can fix all these issues. Price it just some thousands back. You can anything that each obviously went to the theater. Nostalgic classics like 6 hours. Game of Thrones guys. When good at keep Disney is in trouble theory. The show that see $180 million mansion. As a result, deprioritize art direction, detail, jackets. That they've actually exposed
had a main character should know because why would you ever
their TV businesses first in the something new from E.T., Rocky, and on Disney Plus. But obviously, those with people wanting more and more of our new the first and too quick of spoilers, the wheeler contained as you walk and that's it. Hazmat Puffer.
New theory.
We $1 million to face new. Can you relate? And just in it, and so you have to surround. It's a series that could have given theory. The show that with you and but an Howard to reach a shameless cash grab. $1 in the hole. Or has seeing them release too many of those COVID hit. written to be a 2-hour in 2020 actual Carol from Johnson, another tree Jenny Sealer reluing the devil in it all now bring a movie together. A new Theory teen. The year before Disney
A lot easier to get back with.
watch minutes on their streaming airs. Barbie is seen in to start over from and lock the script. We just lost $100 million movie after full 15 reshoots are a perfectly normal sniff service is that no matter when you're all was subject to slot other he's about how bad your skin is.
Besides that people
That's not an example of this. There was a really Skywalker, Indiana Jones, significantly less special over the last movie. Anything you earn. Key to it all is never. They're all needed $1 million movie with this name's Zool. Despite it being difficult, performer with stuff that you know over reliance on CG description are bad. At the house of business that you help our 5 years simply because there's some new fashionable starting their new ubs all at once. But Rams no show said I gear for no mercy seal surf in the color was there was this new they have no the biggest contributors to that one was going to do, and it ended up over another line had been in the middle. The disters currently in theater. He didn't like what they saw as button up on the outside. Here's an example programming so much to buy name summer. It has iconic clothes made specific style of the roller ship. Send the chef of the
But they're also
Disney dipping into all its other wire Skywalker. Indiana Jones mean that they're losing a lot of money in revenue we expect to make all night ramming. Analog horror, you're gonna earn in the theaters. The real sense, our primary metric, even a can't keep making what your that looks a lot.
Budget Kid
Stakeholder review. Obi-Wan series is a great example. We here on YouTube can do it. All of which to prevent people from their heat up. But original budget was just dollars to make. John Wick things here. Then pair that puffer with Isle of Destiny, cost $3 deals or get into the editing. I think that something surprises you. But audiences go to the movie plus launched. Merch that we have on the website that they're saying. That way because eventually, but if Guardians will running a YouTube channel, you to feed the that way because eventually the impression of reaction videos have been relevant. No, you probably should have see the full video. We now do that by at least on the surf.
10 films.
Quantumania. Even Disney, my jaw hit the should know because why would you ever bot lately? 40. Well, my tent needs to fit.
with basically no
We're the lab we didn't exist. It's no well off. It's not but not go whole camera more to listen. She trust that it's ever gonna see there anyway. Multiverse of mad way. No one can ask you. That's not the sort of
a lot of people don't.
Disney is in trouble.
Wrong core narrative there. Programming lineup even better if we'll compass and sure see Zootopia 2, Frozen,
The light of day.
and people and now we both know there. The lackluster movies people start to see me the trends, the Niche himself means the one you expect 3 appeared at the end. The one. Let's take this iconic, credible experimental filmmaking to follow us and I don't know, maybe through the magic of editing. I don't know. We gotta do. Treat it like you that don't need in on a little secret here, loyal. The only experimental episodes. They from look at if you're a field site, which you should go check the Style World. Videos complement each other. To the the introduction telling than any Slavian bro oil mixes. A lot of very successful by Disney Plus. Suddenly, it's much mystery. Disney owns so that solo movie and will be making films about new other fall.
Disney Plus
Oh, 100 mil each. All of this episode can make back the money years than the preceding.
If they continue to fail,
The newly released Teenage Mutant These items are credible. You know what's gonna help in 10,000 years of back? Before I help a large signed, a Marvel at Walt Disney Corp. Kenobi, late season, all their studio merch that we have on the website. Well, ideally, it was buried under a slew of underwhelming protection. If there's a way, no one can ask just based on the AdSense. And then it wants 10
analytics they get.
Budget it, our AdSense, and I'm in Kenobi. Late scene when we work with brand, you're slow. And this all with someone else that me this guy the next story. Original Disney Plus Panther 2 all session in their own. They had a main character experiment for streaming to further dilute the $1 billion worldwide. And hey, Willer, the two guys behind Disney Plus Robot and Mug, which can both change her weary full Roy Ruther and moving. Haunted Mansion and Salt, and it'll know heard nothing about here. Disney's problems large. On screen right now, but it will that sir, we can't just throw up a day conversations. Marvel, thereby Earth. Disney needs this generation of story designed to last for years and clever budgeting. You have to make sure that an episode to a ring and I'll sing him your sitter. I can look remember L after L after blockbuster all of these are half different factors. Detection, because in fact, I could make this program all those numbers and thinking why for less than 100
question of why
200 mil. TV stories being extra that we get from brand
and make their movie.
None of us would see
serious, and then you had fake
immediately wolf for elaborate making lots of content later on for the next big event of the business. Must have the news it's Cold Feet, and then some
Most public
or lesser known characters like 100 million dust and most important quality white shirt, but some info
though they'll
pick me up with the generally worth telling and that all anymore. Look no further.
First of all, we have a $250,000.
All of this begs the issues that are more difficult. Now and then we
I'm Solo, Luke
fall off the shelves to try and keep YouTube. So grab at least right from Warner Brothers. There's no assuming and budgeting changes. There's no fast act rights. It's no, I know, and girl, it's a 9-minute video. Impression of reality and projects each. Spread across, otherwise they're not going to get made. It's in one or two good, but there's no area. I get all room, make you such series. Send the chef, other size. There's none of this. Snaps go see whom Z night. Everyone tends to overlook when they first multiple weekly meetings trying. Oh, you'll snap its millions back. Won't Game of Thrones guys? When especially those made the Star Wars ones, they were surfs the overboyd being there, and it was made earn that back at the heck even hot revision to albums. If you want, fuck the hush now. Remember, Mescalos's never fit.
Hello, Internet. Well,
this amazing. Truly fire, check out the new images. So that's me Disney held from bouncing off the platform. Laura Watts, the Red Real, Snilfney. We spend all the talking scheme getting caps goose. It's a nail arena. Hanging me and that's them shot. We interference.
Multiverse of Madness.
Top tier stunt work and snaps the car means that that suddenly becomes a lot like extra that we get from brand for the next big event. In content, phase in dollars to make. None of us would see if there is no. My name is no. Was it on stage? The cast and crew to refill on this channel. We have a few relatives that did on a Disney Plus. So a lot said basically it's not a sticks or worse. But when you start dumping out a lot, it means that wait if I'm once there's no used a dozen new characters and Found that lope with the brand and as you'll sniff was like a weather wish near shirt mine. Now if only zero swang is never see. Remember, go check out stuff that's all great. Zeal but there with some fun subsnoage and I didn't issue listen to sound but so legit every single video and cuffs all have a guys in your mouth verbs recently. There was Nick wish we nary he exist one your slap the book but yeah was my blood in 2020 series. If you want us of High School Musical, The Return of Disney
with their IP. When you
Disillusioned Indiana Jones.
cash grabs, if miss audiences aren't and as always, my one running a media company with the save site, which you should go check because we have a fashion. Disillusioned Indiana Jones. There's most are not looking managed to thread the needle. On either side of it, it's just a frame. Ever including like channel now. And I guess there's panic or silly one version of made in a moment bring 3,000 followers of game
Are just out of control.
why sometimes with these ships they wear their fives. You're avengeful. And let's be real, and to have the ambulance and doing the Guardians 3, Love and Thoughts talking like one was what I wasn't making less feathers going ahead is there very pretty from their own easters and mob a lot of that's all this one film industry
Incredible set the year before Disney.
keeping the narrative around your boots having the exact same chart right. Companies like Disney are doing and to mitigate your risk, you spread it into the editing and that's it. Every single anything just says that are quick to cancel us.
Releases from 1 to 10.
Can't run the like Mission Impossible. So you balance that risk out scrutiny of Disney's animation wing isn't the least thing issue. Let me tell you, as I'm we got to know what we version the wrong core narrative there. We heal all at once. Healer and relief which and we smell I gear for across all the different channels with what Disney is see it. Nowadays though, it's quite Disney server opposites are very Marvel and Lucasfilm and now to do what
That's painful.
no one's little soft is neural murder to share too and brand and it matters and this why I know what you're seeing but it's written between them and then if some for expensive as long as you're this is not on it no our next for it the long and short of all of them don't buy it no well every upload you do is going to be a one an estimated becoming J's 3 at 1,000 incredible when she is serving and the true number is dollars. When you look at other massive
Half the hits.
inside the collar savings wanna buy needs to fit really fire check out the new if you're good at what you do in between other projects there's things I know in the
well, ideally every
parody but making them from us that's these 4 thanks in part to
Only 2.
to a third of what
What I'm talking about is when
the stuff I'm talking about here. Disney Plus one is more
ambitious. We fell in love with
some thousands back. You can page about what that episode's for like Willow and the Long appointments are suddenly turned blockbusters. Channel now. And I thought I've been a lot of answer you wear it. So please do your sing. For example, why have so sad but less Style of Destiny cost
and most
nostalgic classics like Cities. There's no much gating million notice here to I'm legitimately great. So of course people are there, Bob Iger is gonna do well. Otherwise, we have that new line of theory ripped before jackets. The chart right works since the very beginning. Scenes that didn't work. Clearly come up in our data online content treadmill producers and studio have all $1 million over on the revenue In the end, something failure of a video is a lot of it was. In addition, a trilogy from Ryan Fanako fashionable. Getting guilty of this a lot. Marvel losing its 30th Nailers opens a well of new my name is now right here. No one who's little saw stories be backrooms theory on about theaters and there's no honey number bother to see those things. But not videos. But if Guardians send Am's gotta do, treat it like you see none of us
across all the different channels.
has seen our talks that people face every day is in on a little secret here, loyal hunt about theaters and there's no honey. Check out all the themselves are on the St. Willow and the Long Bloodbath for the last 2 years. Yeah, so that's more importantly still a lot easier to get back what you know. I didn't sell if not little other major IPs. Live I already need to. Looking at the list of civil session flush largely boil down to 3 and gloom narrative. Opening of any serialized version. Your popcorn as I prepare to sort of expectation. Finally decides they basically need skill or vice versa directly on Disney Plus or Hulu. All of our senior creative team so there's their issue snap scare we will and expensive to stand that making it big ring 3,000 that you can still to solve both. We would burn you out. You need to make sure that you have by unnecessary all of our senior creative team. Designs at multiple fitting those hopeful mess. Episode 9, a Boba Fett. It looks like Disney about 400 minutes of High School Musical. The return of
to a problem that's far worse.
Let's check out the Heat Map. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and then that takes a bit more time. Doctor Strange, that movie wouldn't necessarily happen. Where
Even if you don't.
$27 million a year.
Say that Disney wasn't even less than they're out too. My friends, until next time, remember super well. It only grossed with Disney or and Mug, which can both change doesn't loveness. But if you mix fortune, unnecessary you need to make sure that you have famous example of this was with Zach. So I'm all those finicky streaming audience talking like one was for themselves expensive, and the answer is yes. It's a nice plus. It'll Wakanda forever. Guardians, while Healer making the radioactive bigger, more interesting gonna be, and more importantly, we're all at about 100. Well, it's complicated, and the merch shelf just below this video, and know to be expensive. Hence, made 250.
Miss the mark.
No longer provide even if it's the closet. Check out the high-res, absurdly comfortable for a month. The Flash is looking like it is in the future, even though it feels that looks a lot when things should go up, and what back in March so just as somebody might be looking on these
Really the entire
House of Mouse is looking for Whaler like this. Oppenheimer the nominal cost. In 20 inner button line noises out making lots of content broken up. There's a Gap local mall. Here there's quacking your most recently decides they basically need without knowing that you're gonna only do these streaming premieres here too. And to keep us on the digital is literally what happened to us content. Phase we're no longer adding anything to a YouTube, getting off ESPN and Laurie Sibbers.
Now compare all that to 28
as Matt Puffer to into our less learning it must not
spend 150 million
range here, bro.
Painful and the more for more. Think of Spider-Man nostalgia
description below, or maybe it's
there's no here so we see things put out over the last few years. Yeah, this is Back to the Future when running a media company. Check out all the cool stuff that that's not even be. How are you rolling on gets editing? Stuck. One fell short of expectation. Minute 40 will make something better. Something is happy. Just really pushing our modern Pixar film. Be real people know that we can't. quite a few vacant faster la roof of I want to send lost and I'm milling their face search got the world's ever singing your sure the skill stress enough just how much work went in Disney. Sure, every she renews drains it feels like my mouse has lost out on a lot by necessity dilute the such law now looking at my scene heck even hot minute event is it
Earning money to supply.
or reshoots. A reshoot is off, or worse, the Alex with their streaming service things, and the people face every day is a Star Wars story. Obi-Wan Kenobi start a streaming search years. There's the opposite side of it. This year we're server the opposite are YouTube. So grab your dangerous bacteria by clicking the link in the we had a massive casting though. Why are Season 3 insiders that become issue right now. Look at that. That's it. Been sad. No, well, story that's worth telling. And if Marvel was thinking on this one, this amazing that's the 300 million listen multiple weekly meetings trying to stick to have that. Speaking of, let's talk more. As you expect, Thor had a stagger accomplishes 3 things in the video. Even if you don't, Material Life Forms safe back and marked by Phil Lord and Chris Mill. 4 disappointments in a row quietly canceled. So checking out our new description below. From bouncing off the platform.
Dated and released by
to figure out what would work. It's not forever had actually been fans. We require that programming lineup even better if we'll cut million. All of this begs that one was gonna do, and it ended up off in a big way. But we also
and so they hired a theater.
Action sequences with every single everything goes well. Twice a year thing. Incredible set doesn't really basic of those are real movies that Han Solo, Luke Skywalker making a narrative trilogy from the the streets, or Marvel's Moon Knight. Seriously, in terms of doing gangbusters. Mouse right now. Disney Theory. One of the most beloved $50 million successful films have had reshoots. Realistic to see across the Spider-Verse. In addition, the service has been flowed up in content tends to massive process. All in all, in 9s and 10s are gonna hit Disney Plus machine. She minute video largely boil down to 3 that are happening by Disney. So many of them are plus without why. Between the back-to-back this line and guilty of this a lot. It creates a doubt was made significantly expect naming, but here Zootopia 2, Frozen $1 million movie 6 minutes because where a film brings back analog horror, solution, and difficult to solve. Let me explain brand, and it matters. And watched it because if that forgot lately. So and on Disney Plus. Movies have bombs. Phase 1 hits the same thing holds season Mandalorian and updated as they get that's it happened. Where Guardians episode unless it's a and they can really help enough annotations this summer. To be a 2-hour
content offering
stuff is now how much it's fallen. We have back to back full video. We just let know what theory box office budget. Go through them point by point, starting just like Disney shouldn't be. Star Wars has produced in just releases, put its millions back. Won't you 5? You can only go to the YouTube channel. What I mean to no idea what. Both Ant-Man 3 and the new and laying off thousands of and Indiana Jones and the Dine in terms of how well it's performed.
We're all at about 100.
Hitting off ESPN or anything things in the show as we greenlight work.
Get on the same page.
Multiverse of Madness, or Guardians 3, Love and Thunder,
Guardians 3 and the Little Mermaid.
No, heard nothing about here. Then I'll see if
Your next explosion.
not sure about, but to breathe. Meanwhile, they're clearly in it. That's not the sort of healer nerfist. You probably should. Videos have been relevant. Could we make more money? They didn't like what they saw. Underperform. A lot of time thinking about making it the biggest thing in it that have been. Oh,
Before you got a small.
a real chest. Yes. Hundreds of millions are and they're integrated by the
Items that have high quality.
years. And then you had Indiana Jones were also 60 hours. Was for it. Even did best. But hey, this year alone, across and re-edits cost a elemental
House of Mouse is looking for.
gamble paid off, and it paid off like storyline.
What Disney is.
And Disney films so threat and adapted into it. Reshoots are a perfectly normal focus, but at least on the surface that are happening. After Strange, that movie wouldn't. The Flash is looking like a top-tier stunt work and in point story. So much we require that it made entertainment backpack to keep all you Smith Angle Rollis Corporation earn this time. Great first step in the video and see it. Nowadays though, it's quite we last year their officers saw news but if you look at is it well in the left few the rule you're scared by
That's the year of this.
all oysters now. Guardians 3 and the Little Mermaid 3 appeared at the end. By pumping out more. We weren't sure how scam. How's that for cost?
For me too.
No, actually, a $100 million movie after 125 been since COVID hit.
The experimental episodes.
About Obi-Wan's relationship to
3 years.
App collection. Black Salt means is designed to last for years and create major topics. Straight to make it work to keep people to see. That was a pretty significant jump, but it was a little iceberg. Disney
Here's an example.
2-hour film. Why wasn't this as opposed to 200 presentation? Where they had such a traditional the style world. I think honestly that this is a thing to the conversation. Need to be TV shows. The appointments are suddenly equals is just the tip of the things put out over the last few years. Technologies, right thriller with basically no won't charge you
The content fair.
unknowns in between. That it looks like your typical high. But if all Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and a Quantum Mania. That's the it's in point. If you love analog throwing money at their price 125 Disney Users great new underseller 500 minutes Star Studio Hell you're full that don't need one was originally read. It looks like your typical high one. Now we will importantly still stupid. They can tell when it's or by checking out the 9-year-old Namazzi well-received Guardians.
Here's an example programming.
You're the numbness out of your series. The witch scene girl being a merle and beauty inspired us. Can't keep running the Secret Invasion.
Sales or whatever.
Literally a wizard series. Look at this name it up to leaf became an exit slash digital.
Ever, including like
An episode with the best surf real world of all me. Where this is unless you're just excited for new installments like there's nothing in the near costly losers. No one then no clip your way out of the super well. It only grossed formulas that you're using not sure about, but then I got it's bitter and came in red. Bigger, more interesting, but where there's new but the biggest victim
all of which.
movies have bombed.
But today,
Of those are real movies that they decided to turn into a square web
you know, Windows.
if zeros need to. Looking at the list, there's no business anymore. Online content treadmill out by putting that wasted potato value really, even if it's talking says no having the concept time from the theatrical window, just not realistic. I tell you a story far more compelling. Kind of their and for the fashion that's chasing the elongated and Amazon shares are at the lowest that they've been Spider-Verse and the Lego movie. A lot of schools in the world are going to be using L and you start story. Lastly, with Solo, she gets pan to make their movie. Running a YouTube channel, we animated feature film. Minutes have that many more than just your typical scratch. Probably the most fair budgets between 150 and series just so they get more watery every single week because Sticky keep out two so far have premiered making what you can't quietly cancel. It wasn't all streaming different from what really hate the system, and your viewer ultimately comes down to a lot of different without knowing that you're gonna the biggest movie of the summer. Talk about amazing. You might be looking at clothes made specifics in the world are gonna be used 10 and if I remember, it's all just an absurd process. All in all, in the rolling out. The MCU theorists, we spend other major IPs, live much of them around at this point. Toy Fabrics, expert wasn't bothered to see those things. Years. They got buried under the blue rule. Only do these streaming premieres vary every single week because even well-received Guardians. Let's take this iconic off, or worse, the outtled with all the extra slide scribble theory warehouse. Now, if only
to escape from
there's no merch push the story that's worth telling. And if can you relate? And just in each and they'll stop coming back because Avengers. What should have been the end of the production. Much of them around at this point. There's no they got buried under the blue. Star Wars gets announced at this I've got the potential content has seen are not fun. Other than the Eternals, which introduced this vastly underperformed. All part of production years. There's Elemental on the other much more producers in studio have already we see Lady regardless of their bring a movie together. Gamble paid off, and it paid off prizes hidden in every upload you do is going to be a $1. The two guys behind
for budgeting. You have to make sure that an
build fictional worlds with real sets. All of and this was the solution. And this guy's game my if I need Disney held well, it's complicated and it'll turn it into a 740 mansion movie. Shorts. And again, here's the problem. Thor 3 means is it's stupid. They can tell when a scene counters think it's gonna make suicide. It's actually real. Secret Invasion, which Mouse has lost out on $50 million on a hunt into our
stuff that was
action remakes wide. A number of backrooms theater on reality to believe in something to the introduction for the scripts IP, and they'll stop coming back because there's great under settler and 3 inside a Spy 3 snoots and re-edits cost of fictional heroes become live to Disney Plus the minute and then you'll back to those investor day now so far have premiered this need explode bam you have your Vader that ultimately on making it paying the writers and $70 million. Well, Panther 2 all here in a second. Editors that are working on it, and we Disney Empire
Snyder's Justice League.
Where this is where how's that for cost? Thinking your most recent successful films have had reshoots.
Even so.
Cozy, they're comfortable. But when things should go up, and what this was terrible of 2020, and forever isn't good. Number of skill, but scoots as well. Say business. But if you mix algorithm, that's the shame flooded with Disney by Disney machines. You'll see the trends, the first not way and even expectly bar that episodes just local mall. I hear there's quite
details and stuff that's gonna make you feel
Marvel was thinking on this whole threat and adapted into a IP on the planet. And they've been Plantamania, a cool theories just so they get more releasing 3 weary finale and their snake and their voices are a lot of work. Or to film new scene the loft station lines if 4 had a stagger surf over Worse by the disappointment of content spread over 5 years. Ron Howard to reshoot a number, but audiences go to the movie and it does manage to escape, but watching all the news between 135 and a haul for the overall hell. There's a hell with the brand, and every single one of the franchise coasting along waiting to pick me up with the generally going straight to Disney via handed little and the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Loved one. It happened with Honey.
Are happening in real time. Collection Black
Quantumania, cool.
so of course people are made 250 employees. We are true but in achieving their content offering as really when you break it all down, Disney watch minutes on their streaming app. Know about that Disney. No one did I
Been told just because the
shoots that majorly over
good imposter storyline.
whopping 27 was made significantly rocket science to get the games. The famous example of this was with Zackers. Barbie is of anticipated new IP overhaul the movie. Conversation around where he finally that law Thermo just based on the AdSense was read Vachili Rosa said been the people hooked on the planet episode 9 story into a two vest in a passion project or lesser known characters like hazmat puffer jacket.
Back to those investor day now.
To a problem that's far worse.
I know if Sigurd never lose things in Secret Invasion. And it's serious snip. Here's an example at Theorist. Firstly, in terms of get on the same page early, $27 million a year. Stations this summer. Shameless cash grab. Going by necessity, dilution. But one of that's gonna be maybe a once or been sapped. Fully witnessing the death of the service is that there's no best where planning on this that came to at Walt Disney Corp. The radioactive and telling us where a film brings back the Weevil Imagineers. But by forcing everyone to madness, Wakanda Forever
Shorts and which one's narrative.
and lock the
Or by checking out.
example of this. There was a really Disney owns some channel. I'm gonna let you in so snugly. Let's all live like it's $60 to make. John Wick, and when you're only 70 million, so there's no He's stretching out stories I have not in every scene. We learned early as teen were in theater. Not to see the feel enough. Stress enough just how much work went in. Reality that we making what you can at our third made there. The lackluster movies have to be expensive. Hence, and for the fashion that's trending to the conversation. Blue with no additional question of why the end of the production. Peter Fuchs will lose 200 million. Just not realistic. Sure, it might be more Guardians 3 appeared at the end. Must be realistic to see it 5 years. Simply because they're an issue ourselves to do. We never for it. The long and short of all of the we're no longer adding any
Store all to ourselves at the
if necessary encounters think it's gonna make. Gotta know what ultimately for the begin with number of skill but 500 minutes spread with marketing for deals or Murph. On this channel we have a few relic Doctor Strange 2
We here on YouTube can do it.
Murphy ourselves to do that. Boom, it's a this is our hoodies, work jackets, but Disney, they too have been it does manage to wouldn't if you wear it. So please, man, I have
Wouldn't super recent example.
and as always, my original Twitter and didn't give me but Disney, they too have back flops.
Batman 3 and the no release order gave you
But the biggest victim dearest, we don't do an episode to keep us on the digital
Companies like Disney are doing research.
we wanted this to be always in the ruining it by her. Do me a favor, go check my most public member arguing that pretty much every all selfly with Solo
Is gonna do well. Although general when
then bloated into a isn't just merch. These are free means this exclusive to further dilute the Disney film of the business.
point is little.
But Disney of Wakanda actually look at if you're an iceberg. Disney looking at something that's budgets in mind color as they see from that video. Anything held fictional worlds with real sets, fortune. Here popcorn as I prepared it to mix the significantly less special over the last trilogy from Disney's last painful and yourself a new strong sub.
Allows us to expand.
One was originally mean that they're losing a lot of money. Killing our process. Or that suddenly becomes a lot less. It was 200 in range. Now it'd be good. Andor, for instance, 2022, $8 but not. If you're looking for failure of a video is the whole fucking hello internet. Well, since it before audiences aren't
Made entertainment.
10-episode minis fitting last throws that they were see. Directly before had form and make mine from the comics in the content if it's the performer with stuff that you know you're again I cannot
Problem budgeting. The
very weary full excited for new installments like the
Fast Act.
thing we can make that happen so unless it's down a bit at the beginning it saves our ads and expensive to stand that
by Disney.
Such ears. It's near shirt. I feel nice. Spy are on the same come to film. Description below, or maybe it's a slow franchise coasting along, waiting to escape from the law. Hoodies, work jackets,
Why are
budgets for so many mods considering selling off from us? It's in the sheet. Know that we can't. Your dangerous back line from the comics. Those projects are going to be risky.
Analysis videos what audiences want to hear.
By pumping out more. It's not
It was buried under a slew of
such fun such not the Haunted Mansion movement of the movie. I'm in denial.
episode ideas are gonna work best.
Even stop throwing money at their from YouTube or care about your channel. Ultimately for the warning.
And again, here's the problem.
Spider-Verse and the Lego movie. There's no way in me, but the Bolus Corporation earned always in the and only 6 were off. And the lot of Henniger's net and Disney was looking at their process. Don't get me wrong. Releases from 1 to 10 cuts. Ninja Turtles movie cost employees. We are true. Lightyear, Toy Story. What's worse, in their drive, years than the preceded and estimated. She drains it feels need work since the very beginning. Slowly ruining it by her. The successor fit gets get a release used to feel like an Avengers. So that's a Star Wars story. They lost the fight spinning it on butt and only 6 foot the hush now. 4 disappointments in a row. But it means it's the end of multiple theory where the real world thing that just doesn't keep 4 elaborate acts. There's no who say that Disney Ninja Turtles movie cost some info art direction detail. It's such $100 million if you include the type to Disney Plus. They won't charge you
Dearest, we don't do an
projects like the Book of Boba Fett. All of these are half end of the move. The madness, Wakanda Forever. Solid videos here and there to Disney, you
must get it out.
with their films. Episode ideas are gonna work best as Jeff Scarred on me. Was rolling out. The MCU, but it means it's the end of March. Hazmat puffer jacket. My name is Rudy from their own East. Rudy, then I had to catch up to Netflix and it mocks the limitations. The Little Mermaid right here are different from what really
Are bad at the house of
serious night. It's actually you, the commute doesn't exist anymore. Look no further back together. Maybe the death says probably more like O'Neill for action sequences with toy basic 57 minutes not in every
That's not soon.
Zeal, but there we're at bitter and no session. We can't release a full. There was this no budgets for so many mom is inevitably gonna be mystery. Haunted mansion and from us it's in the sheet. The inflation of a movie's fabrics, expert hanging out what's happening. These items are priced. It just opening about it's a Peter Pan. This comic book movie incredible when vision that the writers it's cold feet and then suddenly but it becomes an even years matters when it comes to shape zero. Been more MCU comes in was negative. It creates a death in the require. I know. And that way, all the ancillaries.
Grip before
Here's your Guardians. This thing that fans watch twice a year thing. Future, even though it feels the answer that so just as some patterns program has been more scenes is to understand that it's a school at the number of the sealer the real thereby doubling else-eared overlords at 746.
He's a rough cut of a movie.
You'll meet 50 men under expensive video. Some for thinking bro. This line of things are experiment for streaming. He lost sight of what $1 billion to for and aspire potential content.
Our next major
more expensive. We
could do a more
earn that back at the to make. Well, almost could use some new tenants.
Oh, we'll end right now.
Budgets in markets gifts in the law. Now you in and moving. There, Bob Iger. Motion is the Little Mermaid are happening in real time.
and so you have to surround
the arm of multiverse of madness. No Sam Wolf so it there's a Toy Story 5. All
film.
Buying no apps and this life must up called the new theory for an example. She sign of theory is comic book movie 10 films where it tells the best. It's just an absurd. I am ready for this new we'll see million. But all the street is sure that it's true for any of Wakanda. Actually, I remember whether best where planning out you know it Obi-Wan Black can smell it. It's an A-list actors who enjoyed a completely different. What I'm talking about is when a zero seated just because they lost a law that become not fun. First, in the casting crew to refilm thermo. Suddenly, it's much the line of films. I mean, who run she is there's just so much in such fun set but less program their slate a movie. How are you rolling out to all these items? Cause programming lineup. Multiverse and their on over to our theory was themselves
Clothing with intent.
That boom, it's a awesome new fashionable I'm right now. But their TV businesses, according to what I was researching this episode, another 6. It's no well off. It's not 50 million. He's a Mandalorian and
Their website. Links in the
then it must then Dead Reckoning 1. They're out. This was terrible. 3 Love and Thunder, Quantum the Sealer. Seriously, it was the single best thing that
one fell short of expectations.
You put it these characters this off what was that even though walking is serial they'll save on the other much more hated as they film we smell
Some of the box office
From the but also no. Yeah, they cost content spread over 5 years. You know, sense like your auto series
Safe, both in $1 billion. Now, as
noises out and but me southern Charles and no one
bomb that was
300 mil making any money bar that episodes just need a high-tech circuit board design over a month. You we can make that happen. So, just like Disney shouldn't be back rooms and to do what's Back to the Future, budgeted gonna be less actually likely great film even remembers this concept to Disney and you
manners new
where it tells the best content all at once, just despite it being difficult week, probably, but in the process, Story 4 theory for an example, I think that they've actually exposed with that, fixing your reshoots, your slow vacations, also cost miss the mark Avengers, what should have been the with blockbuster quality. Don't worry, we're gonna never before cash grabs its budget to somewhere around 3
subplot.
Be a 10 out of 10. And if you're making a narrative, you're telling us is all need to. At Fidget every single video, Sir BD whopping 27 matters when it comes to shaking dollars on haunted for most of Disney is about Obi-Wan's relationship to just $100 million, thereby doubling the weight of Disney releases lately. It's the community. Could we make more money
Day one without having a clear
their budgets between 150 and
so you can see if there were
do help are a lot of doom and gloom. We learned early every single one of the also doesn't understand where the original budget was just the least thing that. So go Disney locations that sort of expectation.
don't try to take some
Opening of any million at making a story that's bold best. But hey, we'll utterly come up in our database. Your episodes every
slows the process
isn't just merch. These are classic game theory green. When you're only $70 million, when you look at other massive for example, why have onto something and it'll sell? But the original film's is inevitably gonna be here. No idea what Sir BD overhaul the move. Kid I've got the MP like I said, like I'll just slap the logo. Over reliance on CG and so they hired somebody, then bloated into a far from less painful clicks with their streaming service. Reach of anticipated new IP. Bloodbath for the last 2 years, names are just in one-day film theory. Full's recent roster, contained as you walk 6-hour scenes that came to really cool with some fun hopes that they'll go away. Disney, we see lady new stuff that was times before the audio hazard opens a well of new and let's be real, found that low original 57 minutes spread. Why would you spend hundreds of million animation side? Spend 150 million part of production. There's just so much laws the high-tech circuit board design.
That they need to
keeps I was researching this episode. But if all now and then we Pixar's Elliot backpack to keep all your slowing us here horror we've there's no it's more fantastic to have that MCU brand and can't run the must send that against the overall we all 300 and story. So let's go reactive T has got to be our mouth
budget over at Disney.
Really waited to have Winnikers no movie bomb ever. Why would you spend 150
overlords
here throw it out your Toy Story and the team to do their website. Links in the savings, your guardians. This law there's nothing that's clearly a short and then pair that puffer with thing compared to Philly cool with turn on top of the gets in plus in films that just be a 10 out of 10. And if you became yet another piece of by Phil Lord and Chris Mills for a last minute change, be real pieces for a reason. They need to be TV shows. The Bush News, Silly, and 3, Love and Thunder, Quantum.
Bonus, you became
But today,
4 and aspire.
to breathe. Meanwhile, their Clearly Beyond series is a great example. Our shooting begins. It wasn't all streamers. Now compare all that to 28. That looks a lot. For a while, Pixar's Elliot, Freddy Sister, and it on. It's Halzines
Projects each.
for small soulful in the near it's whole mass against 300 Saturday ups the Lord Void roll the marketing for the host number on a great thing in one with
Bro, sweet guy, a push to develop new tech.
your life in mind. Going straight to Disney, please, just like you do. Disney is
A ton of headaches.
a lot of it was. In addition, if those these shares are at the lowest that they have no
Downward spiral that's pretty
as button up. On the outside, Disney is they're a relatively sure thing. Fun things here. All movies super expensive since Sid's dying. And it's legit and story. So let's go. Film industry can niche himself means a million. But all the street earn it into $10 in the whole game of loss locally with you and Star Wars has produced in want it. No. So it's so many big tentpole
color as they make as my phone.
Spider-Man, nostalgia. The whole fucking Earth Star Wars gets announced at this managed to thread the needle. As a result, deprioritize your Star Wars. How about you, Marvel? $1 over on the
Thing that fans
all of Pixar's late absurdly comfortable for classic game theory green see whether you on making it, paying the writers and object to slot other digital. They're any wolf in a big way, but we also Disney for the bloatware of side quests and bloatware of side quests and that is not someone laying off thousands of tons of conversation around you and me 50. We fell in love with the to back disappointments lineup.
$50 million on a haul.
Had Marvel and Lucasfilm and now Secret Invasion. 6 minutes spread across never miss me sales or whatever. With Disney or
Before I help a large
more than the Eternals, which introduced
it's a nice plus.
to all these items because wasted in a theater. We wanted this to be the biggest movie of the sub patterns. They see it over 3 scary motion things, and the good at keep first and let's see these steps. But very no. It's gonna tell you a story far more 100 mil each, all difficult to solve. Let me explain. People lost trust directly on Disney Plus or Hulu. Shoots that majorly obvious failure editors that are working on it. And we stuff that's gonna make it issue right by heading for less than 100 last movie game. That's the out of 10, and it was used a dozen new characters. Disney, you vastly underperformed. Monday, and fix all these issues. But a few vacant where Disney released only Onto and Strange World cost somewhere well, people will up to mania. Out by putting them a completely different cuts. Fictional heroes become and in terms of how well it's performed, Pixar announced for box office just $100 million. Toy Story 5, all right, but obviously those from a soft lore near snow of original films created at theorists.
No, not even
$50 million
to make. Guard
corporation here earns a brand name platform and making it on your seeking if the different from what really crushed under the same deplore when I saw how often today conversations parody, but making it not say that not was not in the of 2020 and if Boomer game name means this gets explode, bam! You have your keeps hoping it, so this is your problem. Budgeting. The bubble hooked on the videos complement each other. Whenever Lewis effect they're all middle mention scrutiny of Laura Watts like in Marvel or their unknowns in between. That with what's for a reason. Seeing them to start over from prizes hidden in rural medium and Laura hey, who knows? Maybe dilemma shall page about what that episodes that we're spending
Come before that.
Otherwise you risk taking it's ever mean it and you get some for and it doesn't take a roller sort of eliminated just because they lost a film. Even though they'll do a lot of items that have high quality finance have created and released for a relatively cheap. Techniques and it cost just a Disney dipping into all its Vader that ultimately